It's Positively Muskegon. Andy O'Reilly today with Geoffrey Nolan, who is a candidate for the district court in Muskegon this year. Jeffrey, thanks for taking us. You know, a lot of the times on Positively Muskegon, we talk about the fun things around town.
Certainly.
And we bring in interesting characters and people, but we need to know our elected officials as well.
I agree.
And when you're going after it, speak right up nice and good. I mean,
Okay.
It's a good mic, it's not great. But what you're after district court, it's a big job.
It's a very big job. Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about district court. I mean, I've had one run-in with the law in my entire life, and luckily, I've never had to face what you do. So tell me a little bit about district court and what it does.
Sure. Well, as you said, it is a big job. Just last year alone, there were approximately 48,000 cases that were filed alone just in the district court.
48,000.
Yeah. The district court handles more cases than the other two courts in our county combined, the other two courts being circuit court and probate court.
Okay.
And the district court handles a very large variety of cases. They handle all arraignments of all felony and misdemeanor charges, and at the arraignment, a bond is also set. So the district court judge is determining what the appropriate bond amount is.
Okay.
With felony cases, they also handle what's called the preliminary examination, which is a probable cause hearing.
Yep.
And if the district court judge finds that there is probable cause that this crime was committed, and there's probable cause that the accused is the person that committed that crime, it then gets what's called bound over or transferred to the circuit court where the felony trial will ultimately take place. In misdemeanor cases, they handle the arraignments and the bonds and the pretrials and the trials, as well as the sentencings. So all phases of misdemeanor cases. It also handles civil cases, people asking for money damages for an amount up to $25,000.
Okay.
If it's over $25,000, it's filed in the circuit court.
Okay.
And again, those can be either, the trial can be either by judge or jury.
Okay.
It handles all landlord-tenant issues.
Got a few of those around town.
There are several.
Yeah.
It handles all small claims issues.
Okay.
Traffic offenses, including drunk drivings and issuing of search warrants.
So there's not a lot to do as
Right, yeah.
You're not really looking for a lot of work or anything.
Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of work, and the state court administrator's office requires a lot of these cases, most of them, like 95% of them, to be done within 6 months.
So there's a time limit, and it's got to be handled, and it's got to be handled efficiently and properly.
Correct.
Talk about your experience. I mean, the
sure.
name Nolan, that pretty much gives that away as far as experience. We know the family.
There are a lot of Nolans here in town, and there are a lot of Nolans who are attorneys. I am one of 9.
Yep.
The first was my father, Patrick. I have 4 uncles that are lawyers and or retired judges now.
Sure.
An aunt and a few cousins as well.
So it's in the family.
Yes, but we also have many family members too that didn't follow that.
All
We have
right.
teachers, doctors.
Got an author in there.
We have an author in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty much, if there was a job out there, somebody in my family has probably done it.
Well, what's the attraction to the family for the attorney work? Is it something? Is it your willingness to fight? Is it your willingness to advocate? Where does it all come together?
Well, for me, it started. Obviously, my father is an attorney. Has been an attorney since before I was born.
Well, yeah.
Or, I take that back. I was actually born during his first year finals in
Were you
law school.
really? How
Yeah.
about that?
Yes. So he's been an attorney since 1978, and growing up, when I wasn't in school, I would often follow him.
Did you?
See many trials.
Did you?
And it was always something really fun and interesting to see and watch him help people. Really, is what it's about. It's helping people that are in unfortunate circumstances, either through their own making or through the fault of somebody else.
Yeah. When did you know that this was going to be for you?
As long as I can remember.
Really?
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once I realized I did not have the height requirement or skill capabilities of being a basketball player, I realized, I better figure out
I got that problem too.
better figure out what I need to do. And that happened pretty early on.
Yeah. I wanted to be in KISS. Look how that turned out. We all have to find our path.
That would have been a tough thing to get into.
So as your campaign continues, what do you see as the most important issues facing the court today?
Well, obviously, keeping up with the docket is important. One thing that I would really like to look into, if elected, is we have 4 specialty courts within the district court currently. Each one of the district court judges have their own specialty court. There's the Veterans Court,
Yep.
which was actually started by my Uncle Mike when he was the district court judge here. We have the Mental Health Court, which is in front of Judge Lattice Hoops.
Okay.
We have a Misdemeanor Sobriety Court, which is currently with Judge Close, and a Felony Sobriety Court with Judge Waringo. All 4 are great courts. I think they're great programs, and I'd like to see them continued. But one thing that I find lacking here is a drug court.
Okay.
We see a lot of that, obviously, here in town.
There's a lot of drugs in town.
There is, yeah. My wife is an ICU nurse. She sees a lot of overdoses.
Does she really?
She does, and it's unfortunate. And I would like to see a drug court set up, whether that's within the district court or getting maybe somebody from the circuit court to take over the felony sobriety courts or taking over the drug courts.
Yeah.
But obviously, all the judges have judges meetings, and we all try to work together as best we can. And I think that would be a great thing for our county. And I know the funding would be there for it.
Yeah. It's hard to fathom, because if you're not out in the middle of it every day, you don't know of the heroin problem, which is growing.
It is.
It's a growing issue in Muskegon. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, it's easier and cheaper to get heroin than it is to get marijuana in some cases.
That's what I've read.
Yeah. And that's hard to believe.
It's pretty shocking to me.
It really is. And to think, I've made no bones that I've 13 years minus booze, I sobered up. Not, through the grace of God, I sobered up. And to know that these problems continue in Muskegon and there's really nowhere for them to turn, not even an inpatient treatment center here. I think it's a step in the right direction to find a way to help these people to break that addiction and break that cycle.
Yeah, and like I said, we have these other courts that are doing really great things.
Yeah.
And I think this is the next logical step.
Next logical step. What else do you want to bring to the seat?
Well, as you may or may not know, I've been an attorney here in Muskegon County for 15 years.
15 years now?
15 years now.
Yep.
And in that time, I've handled felony criminal cases, misdemeanor cases, civil cases involving amounts less than $25,000, like in the circuit court, and I've handled cases that we've settled for over $1 million.
Have you really?
Yes, I've handled some landlord-tenant issues, done some small claim stuff. That's been in my younger years, but then also when we have to collect payment sometimes too, unfortunately.
Sure.
So basically everything that is handled in the district court, I have handled on a fairly regular basis. So I'm familiar with all aspects of the court and how to handle them both quickly and correctly.
It's a big step.
It is.
Is it something you felt you were designed for? Was this the long-term goal when you decided to be an attorney?
It was. It was. And again, going back to my experiences following my father around and clerking for him as I got older too, I watched a lot of trials.
Yeah.
And I really loved watching the attorneys make their arguments and advocate for their clients.
There's an art.
There is. But I was also struck by the judges themselves and how they conducted themselves and how they remained impartial and treated everybody with courtesy and respect, which is really the first canon of ethics for a judge, is to treat people fairly and with courtesy and respect. And that to remember that the judiciary is for the public and the litigants, not the judge,
right.
The judiciary. And we have a lot of good judges here in this county and throughout the state. And we have some that I've been in front of that are not so great, whether it's because they yell at people, they try to intimidate them, they just treat people poorly, or what have you. And unfortunately, they've kind of forgotten that first rule.
Yeah.
And I can promise you and the voting community and everybody out there that one thing I will do is I will be fair. I will listen to people. I will give them their time. And I will make a decision that is fair and within the bounds of the law.
It's a good thought.
And that's really, as an attorney, arguing in front of a judge, that's really all you can ask for.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're never going to agree with you 100% of the time.
Nope. That's
But
right.
if you get an opinion that you don't like, if it's fairly done, you can be disappointed, but you can't be upset.
Exactly. I was a part of the jury process once, and it was, as they were voir diring the potential jurors, they came along and asked me if I had any association with kids who had special needs. That was my dismissal. I had never been more happy to have been associated with No More Sidelines, because this case was really, this guy was a monster. And they booted me.
Sure.
And that was that, and that was good. But as I walked away from that, I thought to myself, there are people that have to do this every day. Does it take a toll on you if you're handling some of those really tough cases?
Sure.
You're a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The toughest cases for me that I've handled, just from an emotional standpoint, would be cases involving abuse and neglect of children.
Yeah.
And you have parents or family members that, for whatever reasons, are unable to care for these children appropriately. And it's really sad to see a child, first of all, in that situation.
Yeah.
But it's even more sad when you see a child that's been in that situation their entire life, and all they want to do is they just want to get back to because that's all they've ever known.
Yeah.
And it's really heart-wrenching to see that.
Well, I mean, you're in the right business. I mean, you got a heart, you've got a soul, you've got the right direction, and I wish you the best. Is there anything you want to leave people with when it comes to the campaign?
I would just like to, have people understand that it's an important job, one that needs to be taken seriously.
Yep.
But serious doesn't mean bad or angry. A lot of people think seriously means there's some sort of
Terse.
anger to that, and there shouldn't be.
No.
Oftentimes people in the district court coming to the court either as a victim or an accused, this is their first time in a court system.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
It is.
It's a scary place to be if you're not there a lot. And you don't need a judge there that's going to make that worse for them.
Right. I wish you the best in the campaign.
Thank you, sir.
All the links are right here on Positively Muskegon. Get out and vote. That's the message that we're trying to lead up till August, and then again a little bit later on after the primaries are over. Geoffrey Nolan will have all the information right here on Positively Muskegon. Best of luck in the campaign, and thanks for taking a couple minutes.
Appreciate it.